Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. And hopefully tonight we're gonna do the final installment of our now 4-part series of a low-cost tube head preamp design. Previously we examined the vehicle for that particular transformation, and we looked at some modifications that you had to make, and we even observed some of the performance. So today we're going to try to answer this question. Given all that we have done, how good really is that circuit? Is it really worth your time? And in order to answer that question, today I'm going to run the comparison between this modified TAC machine with this Marantz 7 based tube head preamp versus one of the kings of today reel-to-reel machine marketplace, the venerable Studer A810. The Studer doesn't need any introduction. It's one of those standard models against which all other machines in the marketplace are measured, at least emotionally, if not technically. It is a wonderful machine in its own right. It is a joy to use. It's got tremendous functionality, and it incorporated all the best ideas the company had at the time of its introduction. And the company is not small shop, it's a mighty Studer, and they have perfect or near perfect track record. So I would say the competition is very, very stiff, especially when you consider the prices of these two participants. This particular Studer is in a near mint condition. Its heads are pristine and the electronics are very well adjusted and calibrated. It is just about as mean as you're ever going to find. So I would say the price point for that machine goes upwards of $10,000. Okay, I'm not going to argue whether it is $8,000 or $10,000, but it is a very, very expensive machine in that kind of price range. The contender on the right, on the other hand, is a very different story. The tape drive in this system, I'm sorry, I'm playing with my remote, okay. Anyway, the tape drive in that setup was purchased for $250, and it required pretty much almost no work. Yes, some minor lubrication, cleaning, and that was it. And it comes with RCA connectors providing the direct output from the playback heads. It's got some additional features, like it can be switched between the 2 tracks and 4 tracks. But basically, it's a very, very solid transport. And it connects to the low-cost tube head preamp. The purchase price of that component was also about $250. So in terms of purchase money, we're talking about, let's say, $10,000 versus $500. And I'll be honest with you, I never liked the Studer sound. I don't consider it very, very good myself. So even though I have several Studers in my collection, including the mighty A820, I never listen to them. Well, maybe very, very occasionally, because I can get better sound elsewhere. So does this make this comparison ill-conceived? No, I don't think so. Because Studer, even though I don't really like its sound, it is still very, very respectable machine in the marketplace. And don't take my words wrongly. It doesn't have bad sound. No. It simply loses in comparison to some other more serious or better alternatives. So in that regard, it is a very nice and very stable and very easily identifiable reference against which to judge our sound we can obtain from this low-cost setup. So there is some value in this test, whether you find it optimal or not. I think it's very close to optimal. At least it answers some very, very interesting questions. Now, a few words about this particular feature. As you can see, I can control those two machines simultaneously by using this particular remote control. If you look down there at the rack of the Studer where you can see the red light, and on the right side below the jack, you will also see the red light of the remote control receiver. And I like those remotes. There is a gentleman selling those remotes for many, many different machines on eBay. And it can be had for very reasonable prices for different models. So I have probably about a dozen of them. Now, normally, they come with this remote control transmitter, which is basically a cheap working solution. It's just something that works. But if you like something that's a little bit better organized and nicer looking, you can go on eBay and buy one of those. And this will work with those particular remote control receivers. They're made for Sony Betamaxes. And typically you can find them anywhere from $15, $20 price range on eBay. As I was looking for one for the friend of mine, I actually stumbled over this one. And this is original remote in its original factory package, never opened, never unsealed. So I just snatched it. And I'm gonna keep it closed and sealed, just like you see now, as a very nice item in my collection. I have plenty of other ones I can use. A few words about the choice of music we're going to be using today. It is going to be this particular tape. I just received it and I like it very, very much. And there is another reason for using this tape in this type of comparison on YouTube. Specifically, it has to do with YouTube copyright policies. And I like using classical music segments for my demos, but every time I do it, I get slapped with a copyright infringement notice. That copyright infringement usually doesn't stop my videos from being shown. They may be limited availability in some countries, but generally speaking, I can still continue using it, except it really violates my monetization. And monetization is a big word here. If you ask me what it is, I have no slightest idea. I've been doing this for a long, long time. And if I look at my profile, it sounds like I'm entitled to some monetization. And so far, I have received exactly $0.00. Don't ask me how it works. Somehow up there is a formula that calculates this money. And to me, it is just a fun element. I've been watching YouTube videos for a long, long time, many years. So I was curious, can I get something from that occupation? And I thought maybe at some point they will send me a few dollars. And that would be just a reward for my effort, and I would probably pin that dollar on the wall of my office. But no, nothing is happening. So it's just at this point, it's just a fun competition, if you will. But so far, YouTube is winning, and that's nice. But I still don't want to have copyright infringement notices on my videos. And for this reason, the little known recordings, like I just showed you, goes pretty much clean on YouTube without any notices of violation. Fair enough. Okay, with all this said, let's go to the contender number 1. And by the way, you see the meter below. I have a table now that tells me exactly how to set my system so the output would be identical for the two machines, and the meter below would be showing exactly the same scale in both cases. And if you look at the yellow scale meter, 0 dB on that meter corresponds to 320 nanowebers magnetization. And the meter on the right is a peak reading meter. And from time to time, watch both of those needles, and you will see something interesting there. Since we are a little bit tight on time, I will play probably about 8 minutes of the same selection on each machine, and I will let you make your judgment. Thank you very much again for stopping by. I hope you enjoy watching this video, and I'm curious about your reaction. Bye-bye. And now the contender number 2, the mighty Studer A810. And by the way, you have to be aware that this particular unit has transformerless output cards. Arguably the best option you can get for this particular machine in terms of improving its sound. So here we go.
One, two, one, two, three, one.